Thursday morning training for English League One team Brighton and Hove Albion. A side led by a man who firmly believes in the importance of having a solid scouting program.
I'm convinced, I'm 100% sure that nowadays, the most important thing for a manager is to get the right players, and that is through scouting.
250 miles and 2 divisions away, the millionaires of Manchester City limber up. The squad's valued at over $450 million, but with a full-time scouting department of 20, the club is constantly on the lookout for fresh talent.
We look at everything from senior football right the way down to local scouting of 7, 8, 9-year-olds.
Backed by a multi-billionaire, and given that in the last transfer window the club spent around $200 million, the temptation is to think that City's scouting program largely revolves around waving a fat checkbook. But here they still regard good scouting as being crucial to the club's financial health.
If we find the right players at an earlier age, they're going to cost the club a lot less money. Also, what we aim to do is save the club money in every single transfer window by, keeping away the 20, 25, 30 million pound players that might be wrong for the club.
According to UEFA, 50% of Europe's clubs are now losing money every year, and spending through the last transfer window in the Big 5 leagues was down 30%. In short, discovering cheap talent is becoming increasingly important, as are the tools to do so, which is where the Scout 7 system comes into play.
We monitor 165 leagues. We've got over 120,000 players within the system, from at all levels.
So whether you're a 15-year-old in a Belgium junior league or a Paraguayan international playing in the Bundesliga, you and a bunch of your statistics will probably be on it.
He's come out of South America and we've got his complete history here. And we've got a list of the coaches that he's worked with over the years.
In the simplest terms, Scout 7 brings together vast amounts of standardized information into one easily accessible online location.
Someone recommends you a player, you go to a system, you put his name, and if he's not in the system, you better forget about him.
What we have now is a very scientific approach. All the records for the players over the last 10 years, every game they've played, how many minutes they were on the pitch, whether they got booked, whether they were sent off, whether they scored, whether there was a clean sheet.
It's 24/7. It's probably the only member of our department that doesn't sleep. It's absolutely vital for us.
With the Premier League now limiting squads to 25 and UEFA demanding that all clubs basically stop losing money by 2015, teams now want as much information as possible before shelling out on transfer targets. Scout 7 now even incorporates Wikipedia to delve into a player's past. Sometimes wiki accuracy is dubious, but more traditional sources of player information, such as football agents, hardly have stellar reputations either.
I never see an agent who said to me, my player is not very good.
You've got agents knocking the door all the time and they've all got the best player.
At 9 years old, the program now includes video and offers over 300 games a week from around the world. Scout 7 has 85% market share of the top leagues of Germany, Holland, France and the UK, where 75% of the Premiership's clubs now use the software. But of course, discovering less tangible aspects of a player's makeup, such as his attitude, remains something of a dark art, which is why scouts will still always try to watch a player in a variety of different situations.
How does he perform after an international game when he's had to travel a long distance?
Different games, a home and away.
When he comes back from injury.
An easy game and a very difficult one.
How does he perform maybe when the team's just been defeated?
To see the reaction.
Today you can gather all manner of player statistics on everything from passing success to tackles made. Rating players on their stats is of course commonplace in sports like baseball, cricket and gridiron. But football is a more fluid game, so just how big a role could statistics ultimately play in the buying decisions of Europe's clubs?
It's a bit like a car. You can look at all the statistics, but you wouldn't buy it unless you drove it.
I don't think it's ever going to be something which would replace the actual nature of having to go to matches, to see players perform and to make judgments based on, instincts.
Although instinct alone has hardly proved infallible, and while Scout's picture of past performance is becoming ever clearer, one thing that is 100% certain, predicting whether you've found a phenomenon or a fraud, will remain very difficult indeed.
You wonder how how did this player end up in playing for us?
Sometimes you bring a player, you're convinced, and after a month or two you say, what about a mistake? You cannot say it, but you know. So for me, as much information, the better.